It is. Ugh, gotta adjust the mic stand again. Oh my goodness. You see, we're already doing this. Okay, that's not going anywhere now. It is the 12th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. I am your just woken up from a nap host, Aaron. And allow me to run my mouth for a little bit. Normally I don't come to the podcast with like lists. Okay, well that's not true. Sometimes I have structured things that I want to talk about, usually more than one thing, but usually I don't come with like a very set, I guess, topic that I want to talk about. But I feel like that might be a little bit different for today's podcast because something didn't happen, but there was a thing that I haven't really been able to kind of stop talking about because it's just, I don't know, it's just a weird feeling that I haven't really been able to shake since, like last night, you know? I should preface this again by saying nothing like happened to me, but I was in the presence, let's say, of something that kind of made me feel weird. I guess that's the only way that I can really put it and articulate it, but before I can really get to that, aside from the thing that sort of didn't happen, I went to another amazing live show last night at a local music venue here in Jackson. I saw two local bands and one regional, I guess you can call them regional. And I had a lot of fun doing that, as I normally do. So before we get to like the depressing stuff, we're gonna get back to our roots on this pod and talk about musics. So the first band that I saw last night was a local one, another one local to Jackson, called Measureless Aeons. And good luck trying to look up anything about them because, as they told us, the crowd, last night, that was like their second performance ever. So they're a very, very new band. How do I want to describe them? Maybe, let's see. For some reason the word psychedelic comes to mind because it's a lot of the songs felt pretty long. They probably weren't all that long in reality, but they felt kind of long with like sort of the same chords and stuff, but like it was a vibe. It wasn't like repetitive and like annoying. It was like really nice actually. And I will say this, the instrumentation was really good, especially the drummer. The drummer was like so like good. And also, I should say something. I think they might have upgraded the last time that I've been at this particular venue because the room that I was in, it was again very small room. Like there's the stage, which is like a rug in the front of the room. There's the bar in the back, and there's a little seating area to the side, and there's like very limited floor space. And the acoustics are fine. I mean, that's kind of up to, how the performers kind of set their stuff up. But the last two times that I've been there, the sound engineering, I guess, for the drums was kind of non-existent in that they didn't normally when you like go to a concert or something, when I've been to like big time concerts, they'll have like each of the drums and the cymbals like mic'd up. And the last two times that I was at this venue, they didn't do that because I guess they figured the room was small enough that the sound would carry, and it did for the most part. But this time around, they had each drum mic'd up and it sounded really good. So kudos to whoever's decision that was to do that. The sound last night was amazing. I kind of thought the last few times that I was there, that the sound wasn't all that great because it was just, again, a small room. But no, miking up those drums really made a difference, and it made the drums sound phenomenal, even again for that small, tiny little room. So kudos to them for that. Measureless Aeons, they sounded great. You could tell they were pretty new. I could also, they had two unclean vocalists, and I don't know if it was, well, okay, it wasn't the mic setup. The mics sounded fine for each of the vocalists, but I could tell that, they're new. I'm just going to leave it at that. They're new. They're good. They have a ways to go. I didn't really like the vocals. I'm gonna say that. I didn't really like the vocals. I thought they were fine. They need a little bit more practice, a little bit more polish. It was literally their second performance. So like I'm not really trying to be all that hard on them. I don't think they have any music that you can listen to out anywhere, aside from maybe like an Instagram reel or something like that. Um, because they have an Instagram. Let's see. This might have changed since the last time I looked them up. Measureless Aeons. Oh, is this a band? Hold on, who is that? I don't think that's is that them? Is this a band camp or is this just Aeons? Yeah, no, this is just Aeons. This is out of the UK. Never mind. Let's see. Yeah, again, it's like really hard to find anything about them, about this band, because again, they're literally so new. I think they formed like a few months ago. So, but they sound great. I like their sound kind of a lot actually. I just wish they had some music somewhere that we can listen to, but I get, recording like songs and stuff, that's like a whole process, especially for a band that was formed again literally months ago. They're probably not going to have stuff out for like a while. But if you're in the Jackson area and you get the chance, the opportunity to see them live, I would say do it. They need the support. They're a great little local band, and I like their sound. Um, the next band that was up was called, I'm blanking on it. Oh, Die with Nature. They're called Die with Nature, and I believe they're also from Jackson, but I'm also not 100% sure. I know Measureless Aeons is from Jackson for sure. Let's see, Die with Nature. No, they are. They are from the potholes of Jackson, as they said. Yes, that's their exact line. So yes, they are from Jackson, and I like their sound as well. They had great stage presence too. Like one of the vocalists was cracking jokes the whole time, and I'm like, I love unserious musicians. What can I say? It just makes the night a whole lot more fun. So yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about them other than I like their stage presence. They sounded fine. I think, I might be more willing to return to Measureless Aeon's music versus theirs. I thought it wasn't bad. It just wasn't, I don't know, wasn't my flavor. Like I could get into it obviously, but I don't know. I think I just like Measureless Aeon's more as far as the openers go, more than the second one that I literally just forgot. Ooh, that's so messy. What's their name? Die with Nature. I just woke up. I woke up like 30 minutes ago. Maybe 45, maybe an hour ago, actually. What time? Yeah, it was like an hour ago. So I actually have no excuse. But anyway, but the headliner for tonight, which I feel like the openers played a decent amount of songs. So, like, I don't know, 4 to 5, maybe, something like that. The headliner, I guess it's a headliner. I don't know if they're like officially headlining or whatever, but the main act, I'll say that. They only played 4 songs last night, which is like fine. It's fine. Cause I mean the show was already like way late anyways. It started at 9 o'clock. So, kind of late for a show to start, if you think about it. I mean, most of the other, concerts that I've been to, they start at like maybe 7:30, something like that. Yeah. So it's pretty late. It's a pretty late show, but thankfully, it was only 3 acts on a Friday night and not like, how many was that? It was a lot. Like four or five on a Tuesday night. Yeah, that was a wacky choice that I made, but not a bad choice to see all of those live bands on a Tuesday night when I had to go to work the next day. But anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about last night. So the headliner, they were called Reclaim the Empire, and I think they have, I've never really heard of them before, which, I mean, yeah, but I saw a thread about them from like a year ago on the metalcore subreddit, so it seems like people know about them. They don't have a whole lot of monthly listeners on Spotify, and I haven't really checked any of their other platforms, but I only use Spotify, so that's the only one that I looked at. But they sounded great. Those 4 songs were 4 slammers, okay? They sounded so good. I mean, I bought the shirt. I bought the t-shirt, okay? You can't really see it. I really wanted the shirt. Okay, I'm gonna try to show as best as I can. And for those only listening to the audio version, I'll try to describe it. It's a gray, kind of almost heather style long sleeve t-shirt, and it has "Reclaim the Empire" in kind of a, what do you call this? I guess cursive type font in like a teal. And then in the middle of the shirt, it is the silhouette of the state of Alabama, because they're from Birmingham. A silhouette of the state of Alabama with like let's see, there are some laurel leaves here surrounding the head of a deer with a mustache. And so listen, I'm from Alabama, but I'm not the type of person from Alabama that would wear garments or own things that have the silhouette of the state of Alabama on it, because that's just a little bit too yee for me. Like, I am not, that's not the genre of clothing or decor that I would want anything with the silhouette of the state of Alabama on it. But I had to have this one because I don't know, it gave me a sense of pride. Like, I talked about this in my last YouTube video about Burning Windsor, in that we have good music and good musicians from the South, and I want to represent that. So of course I bought this shirt with their name on it, with the silhouette of the state of Alabama on it. And this is literally an XL, because the only sizes that they had were a small, an XL, and a double XL. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put this. Thankfully, it's getting colder now, so I have something to like wear around the house that has like sleeves on it. And honestly, I really like it. It's really comfy. It's a really nice type of shirt. I don't think it's like one of those Gildan shirts. I don't know what kind of shirt it is. I kind of don't care, but it's a nice shirt. The print is really nice. I like the colors, and I like the fact that I get to rep some really good Alabama music. And they sounded so good. So one thing that I saw on the Reddit thread that I had brought up about Reclaim the Empire is that apparently I might have been among metalcore royalty in there, because according to, listen, this is literally like one person on Reddit, so, you know, perhaps take it with a grain of salt. I probably could verify this if I just looked it up. But apparently 2 of the members of Reclaim the Empire, oh my god, leave me alone, go away, pop up, were in Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. And let me see. I'm trying to see which one is it. So the drummer and one of the guitarists. I don't know which one though. But yeah, they're local to Birmingham, and they're really good. They are like so good. Cause it's interesting. Like, before I go to these shows, sometimes I'll look up the bands to see if I can find some of their music on, a streaming service, just to listen to it, to see like, am I gonna be into it? And like with Reclaim the Empire, I listened to like maybe a couple of tracks, and I was like, yeah, this is whatever. But when I saw them live, it like took it to a whole new level. So I don't know, man. Like, I guess their stage presence was just so good that it transcended whatever I heard in the studio version of the track that they had available online, or tracks, multiple tracks. So I don't know. I definitely gotta give them a good re-listen, because their music is great. Their performance was great. Kind of sad that they only did 4 songs, but and I had to get a t-shirt because they were just that good. So now my list of band shirts is growing. Not only do I have, the big names, like my Parkway Drive shirt and my 2 Era. No, I only have 1 Era shirt. My 1 Era. I need to get more Era merch. I feel like they should have more now that they're having new music out. I should get more Era merch. My 3 Invent Animate shirts, my Periphery shirt, the bigger, more well-known bands. And I got a few little tiny baby bands, like Reclaim the Empire, and the other one that I'm struggling to remember, my pink and black shirt. Oh my god. I literally wore it like on the last podcast episode. Why can't I remember it? I just woke up. We're gonna just say that I just woke up. But now I'm mad because I can't remember it. What the heck what are they called? Oh man. Careful Gaze. Yes. So now I got two little local band shirts. I want to get a Crypt Eater shirt. They're another local band from Jackson. They performed last week, and I didn't go because I was just so tired, and I kind of regret it because they're, again, another band that just puts on a heck of a show, Oh, I really regret that one, but it was going to be like, because whatever had happened, they combined 2 shows right? Two separate days of shows. And it was like it went from being like 3 in the lineup to like 4 or 5. And it was again gonna be another show that started at like 8 o'clock. And I was like, bro, I need to sleep. So I didn't end up seeing them, but they're probably gonna have another performance at some point that I can go to and I can hopefully buy a shirt because I've seen their shirts, I've seen people wearing them, and I like them. I think they're cool. So as for that's the general kind of, that's what I did last night. I had a nice time. But yeah. Again, I should preface this by saying nothing happened, but it was just something that I observed. So, okay, when the second band, Die With Nature, was playing, they had a little bit more upbeat, moshable music. So of course we had one two-stepper, which is fine, and then another guy who I think came in maybe midway through the first band, Measureless Aeon set, kind of started, pushing a little bit. Again, this is all normal stuff. I should point out this is normal stuff, but he kind of stuck out to me because there's a certain genre of person that you see at shows like this, and it's like the people who clearly just got off a shift somewhere, and then the people who are dressed like somebody's father. Oh, speaking of somebody's father, bro. So, okay, this venue that I went to, it's part of a restaurant, and I believe this room is connected to like the actual restaurant itself. And I think somebody must have heard the music that was being played in, the room that we were in. And I think somebody literally looking like somebody's Uncle Buster. I can't say Uncle Buster. It's not mean, but it's accurate. If you picture in your mind somebody's uncle whose name, probably a nickname, probably not their legal name, is Buster. And that's the guy who wandered in from the restaurant side. And he was just kind of, at first he made me a little nervous because, he's just, it's, how can I describe it? He's one of those guys who's like, he looks like a good old boy. That's the only way that I can describe him. He looks like a good old boy. He clearly looks like he had like wandered in from the restaurant side, kind of wondering what the riffraff is. And I'm like, okay, who is this guy? I was kind of keeping an eye on him because he legitimately was making me nervous. What can I say? But honestly, he ended up joining in on the fun with the last one and like headbanging and like what do you call it? Fist bump. It's a fist bump. I just woke up. He fist bumped one of like the guitarist during the end, and I was like, "Oh, okay, this guy's chill." But at first, I was like, "All right, where this guy come from? Why is he here? What is he about to say something? Because listen, we're in Mississippi. I gotta have to remind myself where I am sometimes. We are in Mississippi. And there are people out there who genuinely think, that music with unclean vocals and, high distortion, fuzzy guitars is like Satan music. And people genuinely think that. So when a guy who looks like that wanders in to a place like this, you get a little nervous, And I got a little nervous, but it ended up being fine. That's not what happened. That's not the person that I want to bring up though. So as Die With Nature was in the middle of their set, I see this guy kind of, in the front of the crowd doing regular stuff, kind of bopping around, I guess trying to start a push pit, but I don't think enough of us were wanting to do that to get a good push pit going. But he kind of stuck out to me because, everyone else is wearing like jeans or, dark shirts or band shirts from various bands, or just generally look like kind of, people you would see at a metal show. And this guy is wearing khaki pants and like a belt and like this black and yellow polo shirt, which if I say that, some of you are going to know what I mean, but I didn't at first. I thought, okay, did this guy, just get off work at the law firm or whatever? Like he's dressed really, I don't know, officey for a show like this. But something in my mind was like, this polo, I feel like I've seen this before. I feel like these types of shirts, I feel this is familiar and not in a good way. And once their set was over, I went on my phone and I looked up. My literal search query was those shirts that the Proud Boys wear, and lo and behold, that guy was wearing one of those shirts. It's a Fred Perry shirt. It's the Fred Perry shirt. Like there's only, one type of shirt that these people wear. But if you aren't really acquainted with this kind of thing, well, I mean, I don't really know if I have to explain who the Proud Boys are. They're like a white nationalist group. They were, at the Capitol on January 6th. A lot of them are going to the big house for their involvement in it, but there's still quite a few of them scattered around the United States. And I'll describe the shirt for you because it's really unassuming. And it's kind of, you don't know what you're looking at until you know what you're looking at, essentially. So I mean, it's literally just a basic black polo shirt, and on the cuffs of the sleeves, the short sleeves, there is a yellow, like, embroidered, I don't know what you call this, band around the sleeve and around the collar. And then there's like a logo where it's like two, I guess these are like wings, or no, these are laurels. What am I talking about? Two like laurel leaves crossed in the front as the emblem. And it's a, I don't know, this is a British band, right? I never really heard of Fred Perry until I looked this up last night. And one thing that you should know about these shirts is that the brand Fred Perry stopped selling them in 2020 because of their association with the alt-right and with the Proud Boys. And once I realized that, I was like, am I in danger now? Like, am I, is this like what's going on? Because I feel like in this case, I don't think I was overreacting. I don't think I was misunderstanding anything, because again, this isn't like this isn't like a Ralph Lauren polo shirt or anything like that, like a regular polo that you would see people wearing. It's not, super distinct in that it like sticks out, but if you know what you're looking at, you know what it is. He's wearing the Proud Boy shirt, and I'm like, all of a sudden I start to feel legitimately unsafe because, something that I am kind of always aware of when I go to these kinds of shows, but I try not to think about it too hard because, again, these kinds of environments are supposed to be for everybody, and I try not to think about it too hard, but frequently I can tell that I am either the only one or one of like two black people in the entire crowd. And again, it's not like a big crowd or anything like that where I can like kind of blend in. I stick out. I know I stick out. And I have said this before, I'll say it again, I'll continue to say it. Usually when I'm at these kinds of events, when I'm at like metal shows and stuff, I've said this before, it always feels like, even though it is a room full of strangers, it feels like I am in a room full of friends. It always feels like a safe environment where we're all there to just rock out to some music that we love and to share this experience with one another. And it's always been a great thing for me. Even when I've gone to these local shows, people have been nice to me, and they, have never really made me feel weird, or anything like that. And this guy wearing the shirt, he didn't really, he didn't like approach me or anything, or like give me the eyeballs or anything like that. But still, the fact that he was there wearing a pretty obvious, white nationalist symbol, basically, it was like, well, I'm all of a sudden now again aware that I'm the only black person in the room. And it's like, what am I supposed to do with that information? Because a lot of people, myself included, like to go to these kinds of events, like see live music, and especially see metal or punk music or anything like that, as like a form of escapism. It's been a long week for me. All I wanted was to just, do what I didn't do last week, which was just relax, decompress with some great music from some great local bands, some great regional talent, and just kind of soak all of that in, have my spirit invigorated by that. And I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of ruined seeing this guy in a freaking Proud Boy shirt, So I hate that happened. I hate that I felt like that. I hate that I had to be reminded again, that somewhere there are spaces where I am not welcome. And that's not a great feeling. It's not a great feeling to have at all, especially when, I have a lot of complicated feelings about this because, again, like I said in my last YouTube video that I have on my channel, I've been searching for community like this for essentially my entire life, okay? Always feeling like I am on the outside of something, and now I can finally be on the inside of something and be welcomed because now we're all, in this community together, and to kind of have that honestly taken away by some stupid guy who, you know, I don't even want to give him the benefit of the doubt because, that shirt is so specifically associated with the Proud Boys. They stopped selling it 3 years ago. I feel like if you own one of these shirts, you own it for a specific reason. So I can't even say like, oh, maybe he didn't know. Maybe it was just a shirt that he had. No, I think that guy was legitimately a Proud Boy. I think he might have been an actual white nationalist. I have no reason to think otherwise because why else would you wear that freaking shirt out in public other than to let people know like, hey, this is what I stand for, And it's like it's frustrating because why can't I just go places and feel safe? Why is that not a luxury that is afforded to me? Why am I not allowed to have a place just anywhere that is just like safe, Because again, people listen to music and go to these shows to not be reminded of the real world and all of society's problems. And yet here I am faced with a person who, is a white nationalist and probably would like to see me dead. I don't know, It's just frustrating that I couldn't even fully enjoy last night once I realized what he was wearing and what it meant. It was, and honestly, I could start to feel myself kind of panic while I was there because I'm like, okay, I'm here by myself, right? Because I always go to these things by myself because, the one time that I tried to bring someone to a show with me, it ended our friendship. And well, I mean, that's not 100% the reason, but it was certainly the catalyst. And now I don't really have anyone to bring with me to these kinds of places. And I still want to go. So I'm not going to limit myself by not going because I don't have anyone to go with. So I'm still going to go. But I am by myself. I am, I don't want to say I'm completely defenseless. Like, I don't know. I've never fought outside of high school, which was typically other girls. But, realistically, could I defend myself against one of these guys? I don't know. If it came to that, could I do that? I don't know. And, thinking that, okay, once the show is over, I'm going to have to go outside and it's dark and the parking lot is not super lit all that well. And I have to try to walk to my car and, look around me like the friggin' feds are after me or something just to make sure I'm not being followed by this guy. And it's that's not why can't I just go out and enjoy things in peace? Why do I have to have my happiness stolen away from me by a white nationalist, And I'm wondering too, did other people know the shirt that he was wearing and what it signified? I don't think anybody really said anything. He might have been there with someone, I don't know. I kind of wasn't trying to stare at him for too long. Otherwise, some people take staring as a sign of aggression, and I didn't really want to draw too much attention to myself to make myself known to this guy to, seem like an easy target or something like that. And it's I don't know. And what's really funny is that the first time that I went to this particular local venue to see music, local music for the first time, I was legitimately a little bit scared because I thought okay, I know the history of punk music and metal music and what do you call them? Hard edge type of people. And it's those spaces have at different points in history been co-opted by, neo-Nazis and people like that. And I was kind of afraid, like, okay, am I going to accidentally like come to like a group of skinheads or something like that? And thankfully that ended up not being the case. In fact, it ended up being the opposite of the case. I felt very welcome while I was there the first time. And, I thought that was always going to be the case. This is the underground music scene of Jackson. This is a welcoming place for everybody. But, sometimes people have to ruin those things, and I don't like that. And I really haven't been able to shake this weird feeling since last night that, how how much in danger like was I potentially last night? And I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about it. Of course, I told both my parents where I was going last night because, you know, they like to know those things to make sure that I'm like safe and everything like that. And obviously, I got home last night fine, but it's like I haven't even told either of my parents like what happened, because then they're just gonna get even more worried when I go out to these places by myself. Like, oh, is Aaron, you know, cavorting with skinheads unknowingly, So I don't even know what to say, what to think or say about it, other than I don't like that. I don't like that happened, and I don't like that I was made to feel unsafe, and I don't like that I panicked thinking that I was going to potentially get attacked in the parking lot just for trying to take a load off and listen to some live music last night. I didn't like that. And I don't like that I have to keep worrying about these things, Like, I know where I am. I know where I live. I live in Mississippi. It's not everywhere in Mississippi is going to be very kind to. I can't believe I'm getting emotional about this either, but not everyone in Mississippi is going to be kind to people like me. I know this. I know history and things like that. And I just thought we were past all of this. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. But aside from seeing a freaking Proud Boy last night, I did have a good time, but it was still kind of sullied by that. So, and it's like, why do I have to have these kinds of spaces be invaded, And I feel like some black people are gonna watch this and gonna be like, I took serves you right. You're in places you're not wanted. So what else do you think was going to happen? And it's like, just because, a space, let's say, the metal music scene is primarily inhabited by white people, stereotypically, doesn't mean that it has to be unsafe for me, Like, I saw animals as leaders on Juneteenth, for Christ's sake, A black fronted band on Juneteenth, as the ancestors would have wanted. Why? It's just frustrating. I don't know what else to say other than it's just frustrating. And I wish I didn't have to deal with it. But I live in Jackson, Mississippi, which, like 80-something% black, but still a lot of racists. It has become apparent. So I just hope, this is like a one-off occurrence. Like, this isn't something that I'm going to have to keep, encountering in these live music spaces that I've wanted to be in and that I've yearned for so long. I hope this is a one-off thing, and I hope I never see that guy at another venue again. And I hope if he does show up, wearing his stupid little ugly polo, that apparently costs like $95, that people let him know that he's not wanted. Because in the past, in punk spaces and in metal spaces, the neo-Nazis have... Oh God, my recorder. you still on, my love? Okay. Neo-Nazis have been pushed out and made to feel unwelcome because they aren't welcome in these spaces. You know, the Dead Kennedys had a whole song about it. So it's like, it's like, what do you do when you're confronted with something like this? You know? And it's like, what do you do? Because I don't want to be scared into like never coming out again, you know? Because that doesn't make sense. I can't do that. You know, that's not going to help anybody out. And it's certainly not going to help me out. So I don't know what to say really about like how do you move forward from something like that. It's just, again, really disappointing. And I hope, you know, that if those certain types of hotep type Black people that do see this mind their business, because, you know, I don't care. I don't care that this, you know, the punk music scene and the metal music scene is primarily filled with white people. I don't care. I want to listen to the music that I want to listen to. The demographic makeup is not going to stop me. So why should I let it, you know? And I know this is like really kind of disjointed and probably not making a whole lot of sense, but it's just upsetting, and I don't really know what to say or to do about it, or to, I don't know. You know, and once upon a time, I might have been maybe a little bit more wary of talking about these kinds of things because of the reactions of certain people in my life might have to it. They're not my life anymore, so I can say whatever I want. And what I want to say is that I don't think those types of people, I don't think white nationalists should be able to be comfortable wearing, you know, their little dog whistle polos out in public without, you know, some pushback. Like, that guy shouldn't have had a good time last night. Why should he have a good time at the expense of making other people feel uncomfortable, you know? Because these people are a tangible physical threat to others, you know? So I don't really have anything else to say other than I hate white nationalists. They're bad. It's not a controversial statement to say that white nationalism is bad and that being a neo-Nazi is bad, because it is. And it's not even an extreme statement to make either. You know, they're bad. I don't want them around me, and they shouldn't be comfortable coming into our spaces. And I just hope, you know, I'm not confronted with that again, because I won't say it ruined my night, because I still had a pretty good time. You know, I took the videos, I bought the t-shirt, I had a decent time, but it was still kind of sullied by that, and that I don't think I can just like brush that off. I don't want to just brush it off. I want to talk about it, you know? So my mouth is so dry. Good Lord. I'm glad I have some water. Speaking of water, we're moving on to a new topic. I don't have anything else to say about that. That wouldn't just be me repeating myself, but we're moving on. Perfect segue. Perfect little segue. Speaking of water, again, I live in Jackson, and we have had some difficulties with our water. You know, just the fact that it isn't clean, the fact that people are not getting their water bills on time or at all, and the fact that the people who are getting their water bills are being charged $9,000. And so okay, I've been living in this apartment just over a year now. I renewed my lease, and that went into effect in July, I think. Did it? When did I move here? I actually don't. Was it June? maybe. So year in, let's see, June, July, August, September, October. Year and 5 months, I think. Something like that. I don't know. I'm not good at counting. I failed every mathematics. That's not even a funny lie to say that I failed every math course that I've taken. Because, anyway, it's been over a year now that I've been in this apartment, and I only just now got. I don't even know if it's a water bill. Is the thing about it is that so okay. I was Jackson Water has been under new management now for quite some time. Um, Led by a guy who calls himself, okay, I don't know if he calls himself this or if somebody else gave him this name, but let me tell you, the name it did not bode well at the time, and it does not bode well now, but he was allegedly the Elon Musk of utilities back in, I think, Virginia or something like that. Um, yeah. I don't know what that means. I really don't know what that means. What does the Elon Musk of utilities mean? Somebody needs to explain this to me because it's driving me insane. It's so funny, but also it makes no sense. He's been in charge of Jackson Water now for over a year, because I feel like he came on before I got this job that I have now. Yeah. So a big problem that people were having previous to his leadership was, and I mean kind of still now, was that they just straight up weren't getting billed for water. Like, they weren't getting bills. So they had no idea how much to pay for their water usage because they literally weren't getting a bill for it. And I was in that camp up until last Thursday, maybe something like that. I check my account and I have a balance, but it's like negative. I have a negative balance, which means they owe me money or something like that. I don't know. So I ended up calling them last Sunday, which I know it's a Sunday. Realistically, nobody should be in the office or anything like that. But I told the the person who took my call about the fact that, I have this balance, it's in the negative, and I also haven't gotten a bill in over a year. So, like, what's good? And she said somebody was going to call me back. Nobody called me back. And now it's like Saturday. And, well, I mean, I guess, I don't know. It's like, what time is it? It's a little bit after 5, I think. And, so, I mean, now it's kind of too late. I should have called them during the week, but, I've been busy with work and all that, and it's not really been on top of my list of priorities. So, I mean, it hasn't been on top of their list of priorities to call me back. So, I don't know. But I checked my account again this morning, and the balance like went up. It's still in the negative, which it doesn't make sense. I don't know what's going on. I don't have any information regarding this bill because the only thing that shows up when, I go to there's a view bill section on their website, and it just shows me the deposit that I paid like last July. Or was it last July to get water services transferred into my name, which, by the way, it's like $127. That was kind of a lot. It was a bit much, and I had to pay in cash. Not only did I have to pay in cash, but I had to drive all the way out to West Jackson in this abandoned mall that looked like something out of the freaking Walking Dead to try to, do all of that. And I had to go find an ATM in this weird, sketchy place that I've never been before. And try to safely transport $127 in cash, which I'm not someone who regularly carries cash. So, like, having that much cash on me, I don't like. But having to cart that back and forth from I think I had to go to a gas station. Because I went to the bank, but they were doing something to the ATM at the bank, and the next bank was, like, kind of far. So it was like, well, I mean, gas stations have ATMs, I guess I can just go there. So I had to withdraw $127 from a freaking gas station ATM and go back to the abandoned mall to pay to get my service transferred into my name. And thankfully I did it early enough in the morning where that little boondoggle didn't really make me late for work. So I guess it all ended up working out. But they're not in the abandoned mall anymore. In fact, the abandoned mall is now well and goodly, like actually abandoned, because the only thing that was there was the water administration office and like a police precinct for some reason. Now they're both out. So now that mall is like actually abandoned. Um, so it's really crazy though, because, according to my mom, who is from this area and like, grew up around all this stuff, it was like the Mall of America in Mississippi at one point in time. And now it's just like, you know, plants growing out of concrete and like ivy snaking around the exterior walls. It's legitimately, honestly, if you're into like urban decay and urban exploration and stuff like that, it's kind of a vibe. But if you're trying to just like go in the morning to get the water service paid, or transferred into your name, it's a little weird and off-putting. But what was that all about? What am I even trying to? Okay, so all of that's been moved to like it's been moved out of Jackson. It's not even in Jackson anymore, which is kind of crazy because it's Jackson Water, but they're headquartered not in Jackson anymore. They're in Pearl. They're in a whole different city. So like, why? Why would you do that? And I guess it kind of made sense that they were in the abandoned mall because it might have been equidistant from, like, actually no, I don't even think that's true. I think that was like way out west. So no, I don't even think that's true. I don't know why they didn't just move it downtown, you know? That would have made sense, but no, they moved it to Pearl, which doesn't make sense. But now they actually pick up when I call because, when I tried to call them to get the details of how to transfer the water in my name, I called a few times over a few days and nobody picked up. Like hardly anybody picked up. Someone eventually picked up and they told me I would have to go down to the abandoned mall to do it all. But when I called them on Sunday, I was expecting to kind of get, what do you call it? They give you a list of options and you're like, if you need to pay your bill, press 2. That kind of thing. But no, somebody picked up surprisingly fast on a Sunday. It was in the middle of the day, but it was still, Sunday. So I guess their customer service is better, but it's still in the negative. I don't know what that means. Does that mean they owe me money? Because boy golly, would I love to get $124 from them, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Something tells me that's not going to happen. So, and I got a thing in the mail the other day being like, hey, we got our water quality tests back. Don't drink it. That's essentially what it said. Like, hey, here are the results of our water quality test that we did. It's in your best interest not to drink it. Don't feed it to your children. Don't give it to your pets. If you're gonna use it, like, just don't. So, all this hullabaloo about, the new head, the Elon Musk of utilities himself saying like, oh, the water is safe to drink. I drink it every day. You know what it's giving? It's giving those people, this must have been in Flint because I can't think of anywhere else this has happened aside from like Jackson, but the head or somewhere where fracking was going on and that was poisoning the water, being like, yeah, this water is clean. I drink it. I love the tap water. It's so good and tasty. And then, some journalist or something brings a water bottle full of like brown liquid, being like, hey, this came out of my faucet. You want to drink this? And then of course they don't, because why would they? I had a thought. I'm gonna keep it to myself though. I'm gonna keep it to myself. I'm not gonna share what was going on in my pretty little head. No. But anyways, I don't know why. When I wake up from naps, my mouth is just so unbelievably dry. I'm confused. I don't know where I am. Like, I got a spam text. I woke up from my nap in a panic because I got a spam text from somebody, not actually Wells Fargo, but, it said, like, did you attempt $233 at Conoco? Which, do Conoco gas stations even exist anymore? I swear I haven't seen one since, like, 2010. So, obviously I go and check my bank account and nothing happened. So I'm just surprised that one got past my spam filter that's in my that's, that, what do you call it? Google Messages has. So, because when I get texts, I have a it's not an Apple Watch, it's a Fitbit that is honestly kind of dying on me. The battery doesn't last as long as it used to, but I've also had it for like 2 years, so it realistically can only last for so long. And it can't replace the battery either. That's so lame. Like, if this thing ever dies, I'm just gonna have to buy a new one. And I didn't even buy this one. My parents bought it for me. So, like, I'm probably just not gonna get another one, even though I really like having. Anyways, anytime I get a text, it comes and vibrates like my watch. And so, like, my watch vibrates and I sleep kind of weird. So, like, I'm gonna have to explain it again for the people who are only listening, which, if you're only listening to the audio version, you're only getting half the story. But I'm sleeping kind of like this, and I guess my watch is like more visible. And so, like, my wrist vibrates and I look up and there's like, all I see is like $223. And I'm like, what's going on? And there's no, it was a spam text. No one had tried to spend 220. First of all, $223 at a gas station. Like, are you filling up your diesel 18 wheeler? Like, what? I don't know. Listen, I've never, usually when I fill up my tank, which, not to be bougie or anything, but every time I get gas, I fill up because I get cash back on my credit card. That's the reason why. But every oh goodness, every time that I fill up, I'm never lower than like half a tank because I feel like I don't know, I'm a little bit paranoid about it because, like, what if I'm out on the interstate one day and there's like a traffic jam because there's an accident and I have like a sliver of gas left and then I'm just like stranded on the interstate. Like, I have AAA and all that, so like it realistically would be fine, but also not really. Um, so yeah, I don't want to be stranded in these streets, so I always keep my gas tank full. And I get cash back on it. Not that much, not even that much, but I get cash back. One thing that happened, well, I mean, it didn't happen recently. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, oh, this happened like last week, but they keep going up on my credit limit on my credit card. And it makes me mad every time it happens because, well, number one, I didn't really want a credit card to begin with. My dad suggested I get one, which my dad is not someone that I take financial advice from seriously. So, we're already working with that. And he was like, you should get a credit card. You need to start building your credit. You can buy your textbooks on it. And it's like, first of all, why am I purchasing my textbooks? I will say, I do have some textbooks that I have, like, bought, and I still have, well, I don't even really still have them because they're all back home. So much for that, I guess. But for the most part, I just rented my textbooks. And also, I feel like I kind of lucked out because for the first few years, I was only there for a few years, but for the first, like, 2.5 years that I was at Belhaven, their bookstore was independent, so they, like, sold everything and handled all the logistics themselves. And as a result, their textbooks were like, and again, I wasn't really taking like intro to chem or bio 201 or anything like that. So I wasn't like getting really, intense textbooks. I think the most expensive textbook I got was like a math one, and I ended up selling it back for like $5, which was so lame. But most of my textbooks that I've had, again, weren't even really textbooks. They were like just regular books. Because a lot of the ones that I had were for like my literature classes. And then there were the few that I had for my film classes, some of which that I kept. But I always rented and they never really cost that much until they switched to Barnes and Noble, which is satanic and dark-sided because their textbooks are so expensive for no reason. And yeah, thankfully by then I was like in my last 2 semesters or my last semester, and it kind of didn't matter because I didn't really need any textbooks anymore like that, so I don't even think I ended up renting any of my textbooks on a credit card. So much for that. But they keep going up on my credit limit because it was supposed to be like one of those college credit cards, which, by the way, sounds like a terrible idea because, if it's one thing that college students aren't exactly known for, it's financial literacy. giving a credit card to a college student doesn't sound like a good idea. And initially, it only had like $500 credit limit on it anyway, which, I mean, that sounds like a lot, but it also isn't really, if you think about it. Like, $500 used to be a lot to me. Now it is not a lot. Because when I think about all of my bills and how much I pay for like groceries and like gas and like just other incidental things, it's like all that's gone in like a month. Not even a month, less than a month. Well, okay. It is gone in a month if we're not counting like rent, because my rent is obviously more than $500 for some reason. But yeah. But now it's up to like 2,800, and I didn't ask for all of that. I didn't ask them to go up on my credit limit. That's like the last thing that I want. You know, cuz I know who I am. If you give me money, I'm going to spend it. Okay? So like having a credit card, not the best idea for me. But for the most part, I've been able to stave off buying because I mean I don't really like spending lots of money on singular items anyways. So like it kind of helps that I have that trait within me so I don't spend all my money on like ridiculous stuff, which I don't know. Do I spend my money on ridiculous things? I don't like buy, microtransactions in video games. I'm not like buying V-Bucks or Robux or anything like that. So I guess I'm a step ahead in that regard. But, I don't know. I just hate spending money in general. Why do things have to cost? Why can't you just give it to me, Just like give. Why have to give you money? I worked hard for my money. I don't want to give it away. So, I don't know. I wish it didn't go up on my credit limit. I wish it was still $500. That's all I have to say. I don't have the use for a credit card, Like I kind of have thought about the fact that I might get cash back or something like that, like when I go on trips to see concerts, and like I could, I guess, book my hotel on my credit card, but I mean by the time I even thought about doing that, my last trip was already over, so it was a little bit late for that, and I'm not really planning on going on anymore. So I guess we'll have to wait till the next round of summer concerts are announced. And I have some pretty high hopes for summer concerts for next year. I already know Era has some new music that's should be coming out next year. I mean, they've only released one single, so speaking of singles, how could I forget? My good sis, Viltjarta, put out another song, and it was another banger, and I'm like, I love this band so much. I don't know why. Their music like scratches a certain part of my brain that is just real itchy, It just really scratches that itch in my mind, and it's so good. It's so good. It's called the new song it's called ooh, mouth. The new song that's out is called, I think, we're going to consult my other good sis Google Translate to to pronounce this one. So let's see if I can. Let's see. It's not even that complex. Realistically, I should be able to pronounce it, but I don't know Swedish, so
Ilva.
Oh, see, there's like, what do you call them? Emphasis on syllables that I wouldn't have even known. Let's have it again.
Ilva.
Yeah, that's the name of the new single. It translates to 11. So we have the singles now for whatever their new album coming out is going to be. We have that Spanish feeling, and we have 11. So stream Viltjarta, man. Just do it. Oh, the lyrics are in Spanish. It doesn't matter. It's a vibe. You don't have to understand it to enjoy it. Which is interesting because I haven't listened to Meshuggah's entire like discography, but they're another Swedish band, but all their lyrics are in English. So yeah, it's interesting. The duality of Swedes. Which language will I pick for my metal music? But honestly, I think now is a good time to end. This has been the 12th episode of the Running My Mouth podcast. And thank you for allowing me to run my mouth. Follow me on Twitter, because again, if you're not following me on Twitter, you're only getting half the story. And I don't have anything else to say. I don't know. I need to sweep. I don't know how, but there are just leaves in my house. It sure is fall. There are leaves in my house. It's cold. I'm wearing long sleeves in the house. It is fall. Fall has fallen. I'm so happy about that. I'll see you in the next one.